today's episode on using Proxmox. So Proxmox is a great option if you want to run your Unikernels on your own hardware with your own virtualization. It's basically a wrapper around KVM. I'll show you it here. This is the basic UI here. To get going, you're going to want to have your user, and I'm just running this in Fusion, by the way, as you can see. So I actually have nested virtualization going on here because it's just easier to test. But assuming this is installed on actual real hardware, we want to have our user, and we're gonna. So I have just the default root user. If if you care about security, you might want to create another user. So we get our user root, and then we need to create an API token. I've already done this, but you can see the token names, token ID, and when you create these, you'll get a secret to use, and so that will allow us to interact with Proxmox via ops. Speaking of ops, you'll be wanting to run the latest nightly build of it. Because there's a few new PRs that cropped up in the past day or so as some people wanted to play with Proxmox and we needed to extend it. All right, so you create your user, you got your token ID. We need to go ahead and check that we also have permissions for interacting with this. So yeah, so if you look at this local PVE, you look at permissions, you can see that I've added this here for that token. You need to do this. It's not there by default. If it's not here, then you're going to have problems with ops interacting with Proxmox. All right, so that's what it is. And what will happen is we'll do two operations, one for image create, one for instance create. Image create's just going to upload an image into this local storage, and then it's going to move it over into an actual disk. It's going to create, and then the create instance is going to spin up the instance and attach everything that we want to it. So let's go to the shell and see what we have. So if you've seen any of the video tutorials, this is our simple little go hello world. Our create image looks like this. So I'm showing you guys just so it's really clear like what goes into these envarbs. You need 3 of them. The API URL, which is your IP and port, as you can see up here. That's what it is. The token ID, and then the secret that you get. Obviously, this is just some instance that I'm running nested, so this isn't like a password or anything. This can be used as a password, but this is for demo purposes. All right, so we got Proxmox, right? And we're going to build the application. We're going to create it. So we'll just do this create image. It's going to compile. It's created it. Now, if we go over to local PVE, we go to ISO images, you can see that we have this new image. This date looks off, right? But that's just because, again, the last time I was looking at this VM was 6 months ago, I guess. So anyways, we created the image. It's pretty fast because it's local. Now we're going to create the instance. So the exact same envars and then our instance create like so. You might see some debug output here. All right, so it says it created. All right, so it just popped up in 102. Let me just show you the hardware. Now, your hardware should look like mine does. So you need that this hard disk for video. You should be pointing at local LVM. You can see this unused disk is the disk that we uploaded. And this ISO extension, don't pay mind to it. It's just something that the Proxmox API actually wants, but it's actually kind of inaccurate to call it an ISO because it's not. So what we did during instance create was we basically moved the disk over into this one. So we originally uploaded it here, and then we created this copy of it over here, 102, as you can see. Now, since I'm virtualized, I'm going to have to do one more thing, which if you're on real hardware, you shouldn't have to do this, but I was running into an issue. Basically, KVM, I needed to turn that off. Again, this is because it's nested virtualization and there was an error. You shouldn't have to actually do this step. But we go to the console and we can kind of go ahead and start it. So boots up, it says booting from hard disk. And then there's our hello web server. So 41.144 is our IP. Let's just kind of test it out real quick. 172.16.144. What is our 41.4? And then 8080. So it's all live. It's working, and you can just keep on spinning these guys up, right? So we just spin up like 3 more. Boom, boom, boom. These are all off by default, but you get the drift. So anyways, that is Proxmox. I hope it works for you. If not, feel free to open up a PR like some other people have done on the ops repo, and we'll move forward. All right. Thanks. Bye.